Shadows in the Attic. For most people in the quiet town of Maplewood, Harold and Margaret Benson were simply the sweet elderly couple who waved at neighbors, baked pies for the church, and sat together on their porch every evening. To the world, they looked ordinary, perhaps even boring. But behind the curtains of their little white house was a story that had been buried for decades. A story that only surfaced one autumn afternoon, when their granddaughter Emily begged to help clean out the attic. The old room smelled of dust and cedar, filled with boxes of photographs, yellowed newspapers, and trinkets from another time. Emily was laughing as she pulled out old hats and tried them on, until she reached beneath a pile of blankets and found a small metal box, locked tight. "Grandma, what's this?" she asked. Margaret's smile froze. Harold's hand shook when he saw it. He hadn't thought about that box in nearly 60 years. Emily insisted on opening it, and inside lay a bundle of letters, tied with a faded red ribbon. Margaret picked them up with trembling fingers. But as soon as she began to read, her heart dropped. They weren't written by her. They weren't addressed to her. They were from someone named Claire. Every letter was filled with love, promises, dreams, written to Harold. And the last one carried a secret that shattered the silence of the attic. Claire had been pregnant. Margaret's chest tightened. For 50 years, she had believed she knew everything about the man she married. But here, in her hands, was proof of another life, another love, hidden in the shadows of their home. The days that followed were heavy with silence. Margaret couldn't look at Harold without seeing betrayal. Harold tried to explain how he had loved Claire when he was young, how her family moved suddenly, how he never knew what became of her or their child. He admitted that he buried the secret, too ashamed and too afraid to break Margaret's heart. But fate had other plans. Emily, determined to uncover the truth, tracked down Claire's family. That's how they learned she had passed away years ago. But she left behind a son in his 50s, Harold's son. When the man first came to their door, Margaret's heart raced with anger and fear. But as he stepped inside, shy and uncertain, Harold's eyes filled with tears. The resemblance was undeniable. For the first time, Harold stood face to face with the son he never knew. It wasn't easy. At first, dinners were quiet, awkward. Margaret felt torn between her hurt and her compassion. But slowly, the walls began to crumble. She saw the kindness in the man's smile, the gentleness in his voice. She realized he wasn't a threat to their family. He was part of it. Months later, the Bensons' home was livelier than it had been in years. Their grandchildren laughed with their newfound uncle. Emily beamed with pride for reuniting the family, and Harold and Margaret discovered that love, though tested by secrets and time, could endure. On their 51st wedding anniversary, surrounded by family at a long table lit with candles, Harold lifted his glass and looked at Margaret. His voice cracked as he said, "Thank you for staying, for forgiving me, for giving us all another chance." Margaret took his hand, squeezed it, and smiled through her tears. "Harold, life isn't about the mistakes we make. It's about the family we hold on to in the end." And as laughter filled the room, Margaret felt the weight of the attic's shadows finally lift. For in the twilight of their years, she realized, even after heartbreak, life can still surprise you with love.